All right, moving on for now. The Gulf is split over Yemen, and on Tuesday, Saudi Arabia-led coalition forces bombed the UAE weapons shipment destined for separatist forces reportedly. Not just that, Saudi Arabia declared the UAE-backed separatist advance in Yemen a threat to its national security, calling Abu Dhabi's actions highly dangerous. And with this, the rivalry between the Gulf monarchies over Yemen boiled over into an open dispute. The Saudi bombing of arms shipment signaling a new escalation in the tensions between the two sides. But what is this all about, and how does it actually affect the entire region? Let's just decode this for you. Starting off with how on Tuesday, Saudi Arabia declared a UAE-backed separatist advance in Yemen as a threat to the kingdom's national security, like we said. Riyadh also called Abu Dhabi's actions highly dangerous, shedding the spotlight on the growing rift between the Gulf monarchies. The strongly worded foreign ministry statement came hours after the Saudi-led coalition fighting in Yemen said it had struck a UAE weapons shipment destined for separatist forces reportedly. The Saudi foreign ministry statement read, and I'm quoting now, "The steps taken by the UAE are considered highly dangerous. The kingdom stresses that any threat to its national security is a red line, and the kingdom will not hesitate to take all necessary steps and measures to confront and neutralize any such threat," quote unquote. That statement on your screen. And the separatists of the Southern Transitional Council, the STC, are backed by the UAE and are seeking to revive the formerly independent state of South Yemen. In recent weeks, in fact, they have made sweeping territorial gains. Also in that lightning offensive, experts say that the successes have embarrassed Saudi Arabia, which is a regional heavyweight, as well as the main backer of the internationally recognized Yemeni government. The latest Saudi action to bomb the arms shipment, further straining the ties between Riyadh and Abu Dhabi, because both have been backing competing sides in Yemen's decade-long war against the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. And these tensions have split open at a time when there is already a lot of unease across the wider Red Sea region. And the Saudi-led coalition justified the bombing by saying, and I'm quoting here, "Given the danger and escalation posed by these weapons." The coalition air forces carried out a limited military operation this morning, targeting weapons and combat vehicles that had been unloaded from the two ships at the port of Mukalla. Footage of the port reportedly showed dozens of parked military vehicles and pickups, several of which were burnt out, smoldering, as the workers hosed them down. And after the strikes, the leader of Yemen's Presidential Council, which sits atop the Aden-based government, declared a state of emergency and cancelled a security pact with the UAE. This after the separatist forces of the UAE-backed STC had seized large parts of the territory reportedly. Now, just to be clear here, the STC is also a key member of the Yemeni government, which is currently looking like a patchwork of groups just held together only because of the opposition to the Houthis, who control northern and western Yemen, including Sana'a. Over Yemen, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, traditionally close allies who joined forces in Yemen against the Houthis, have increasingly been at odds. It has to do with the fact that the conflict is happening at their doorstep and affects their respective countries as well, of course. And the way things stand right now, Saudi Arabia stands by a demand from Yemen's Presidential Council for Emirati forces to withdraw from the country within 24 hours, so the clock is ticking. Saudi Arabia has also urged Abu Dhabi to cut off military and financial support for the Yemeni groups. Mukalla, where the Saudi bombing took place reportedly, is in Yemen's Hadramaut governorate, which the UAE-backed separatist forces had seized in recent days. The port city is about 500 kilometers from Aden, the seat of power for the anti-Houthi forces in Yemen. Shifting focus, after nearly 2 decades, the ancient Hindu festival of Basant Panchami is set to make a comeback in Pakistan. Lahore is bringing back the Spring Festival, known for bright kites and music. In 2007, the then Punjab Chief Minister had banned the festival, citing an increasing number of deaths and serious injuries caused to motorcyclists by prohibiting sharp strings as well as judicial pressure. And now, the Pakistan government aims to revive it, albeit with tight regulations. The Punjab Assembly, in fact, recently passed a new kite flying law. It lets the district officials allow Basant only on set days and in chosen locations. So in this effect, Lahore's Deputy Commissioner has now approved celebrations for 3 days in February 2026. He says the city will allow kite making and sales under strict controls. Only registered sellers can offer approved kites and string. The string must be cotton, not metal or plastic. While sharp or dangerous threads remain illegal, the local police has been directed to seize banned material, officials saying they want culture and safety together. And they believe Basant Festival can help revive a tradition rooted in history, one that is admired the world over, as well as lift the public mood if everyone follows the regulations. We have all dealt with hiccups at some point or the other. We are way too familiar with that feeling of that sudden jolt in our chest when hiccups occur. We hold our breath, we perhaps sip some water, tilt our head upwards, try and do whatever we can, hope they disappear. But sometimes they just do not want to leave you. Imagine hiccups that refuse to stop. They go on for days, weeks, perhaps even months. Sounds annoying, right? Of course it can be. And for one political leader, doctors had to take a rather extraordinary step. Surgery. That's right, a surgery for hiccups. I'm talking about Brazil's jailed former president Jair Bolsonaro. Doctors say he underwent another medical procedure to silence persistent, painful hiccups that simply would not let up. Surgeons performed what's called a phrenic nerve block. They targeted the nerve that controls the diaphragm, the muscle that helps us breathe. First on the right side, then on the left. By interrupting those signals, the doctors tried to calm the spasms triggering his hiccups. And this makes the former Brazilian president's second procedure in just 3 days a significant one, following the earlier surgery linked to the ongoing health complications. Bolsonaro, remember, is serving a 27-year sentence linked to an alleged coup plot. Brazil's Supreme Court approved his transfer to a hospital in the capital so the specialist could treat the condition. Bolsonaro's medical team says he is stable, may not need to stay hospitalized much longer if the recovery continues as expected. And his wife has said that he had battled recurring hiccups for nearly 9 months before the doctors finally decided that surgery was necessary. For most of us, hiccups can be quite annoying. But for many, like the former Brazilian president, there is no other way but to go in for surgery. In fact, this is what's been reported. For decades, China's public school system has been held up as a factory of discipline, excellence, academic rigor, long school days, endless homework, high-stakes examinations that can decide a child's entire future in a way. But now a quiet question is lingering on. Inside Chinese homes, is this system preparing children for the future, or is it breaking them under the weight of the present? In Shanghai, a 14-year-old girl is living a very different reality. She no longer sits in a classroom for 10 hours a day. She doesn't stay up late memorizing what's in her textbooks. Instead, her school day unfolds in her living room through languages, art, science, even rock climbing. She is homeschooled in a country where homeschooling is not legalized as such. She left Shanghai's grueling public school system 3 years ago. Her school days used to end at 5 in the evening, followed by 4 more hours of homework and tutoring at night. Next year, she would have faced the high school entrance exams, one of China's most pressurized milestones.
Well, instead of just doing that stressful exam in the school, I will do the things I was interested on. Maybe in the future, I said before, like I like AI combined with languages. So I will study a lot of languages to prepare for my future career. And I'm also very interested in acupuncture. Maybe I will consider to be an acupuncturist in the future.
Her parents decided enough was enough. They worried their daughter was struggling to keep up, and more importantly, that the skills that she was being pushed to learn may soon be irrelevant in a world that is fast being transformed by technology and AI. And today, her schedule is designed by her family. Tutors come in for science, math, Spanish, fitness. Her mother teaches her acupuncture. After online classes, she heads to a climbing gym and is often the youngest person there.
I think that it determined what I'm doing now. Homeschooling provides ample free time. So with this free time, you can reflect on yourself. You ask yourself, what do I like? What do I want? What is the meaning of the things I do?
And her story is not an isolated one. Only a few thousand children out of 150 million children in China are officially homeschooled, but education researchers saying that number has been growing steadily for years now as more parents quietly question a system built around exams, rankings, relentless competition. And the numbers are stark. They tell a story. Youth unemployment in China remains high. Even graduates from elite universities struggle to find work, reportedly, while the authorities have cracked down on cram schools. Underground tutoring continues. Experts say what is changing is not just education, but also belief.
And now you look at computer science graduates are not getting jobs because of AI. Editing, writing, marketing, a lot of those things. So I think that overall is the economical reality is forcing parents to rethink about, is it worth it to push your children through the hardship of preparing for the test? Or you want to take your children out for homeschooling or have a different kind of a lifestyle?
Homeschooling in China still operates in a gray zone, tolerated but not legalized. And even parents who embrace it admit that it comes at a cost, especially when it comes to social life and peer interaction. Rolls-Royce, a name that has stood for engineering excellence, quiet power and technological leadership for more than a century. Today, it is turning its eyes towards India, not as a customer, but as a home market. The British aero engine giant is exploring making India its third home market outside the UK, placing it in the same league as the US and Germany. Now, this is not a symbolic gesture alone. It's a strategic statement, one that signals India's arrival as a global center for advanced engineering and defense technology. At the heart of this shift is a big investment plan. Rolls-Royce says it wants to design and develop a next-generation aero engine in India to power the country's future stealth fighter, the Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft. And this would place India among a very small group of nations with indigenous fighter engine capability. And what makes this offer even more significant is the depth of this partnership. Rolls-Royce has indicated that the entire engine design can be done in India with technology transfer and joint ownership of all new intellectual property. For a country that has long depended on imported engines, this could mark a generational turning point. And the vision extends beyond the skies. The same engine core, Rolls-Royce says, can be adapted for marine use, including electric propulsion, directly addressing the Indian Navy's future requirements. Very few companies in the world have the ability to convert aero engine technology for naval applications. Rolls-Royce is one of them. The partnership is set to deepen on land as well. The company is expected to sign 2 key agreements with Indian Defence public sector units, one for engines for the Arjun main battle tank and another for future combat vehicles, further strengthening India's defence manufacturing base. And this strategic bet on India is already backed by action. Rolls-Royce has inaugurated its largest and most advanced global capability center in Bengaluru, a 700-seater facility that now serves as a critical engineering hub for the company worldwide. Over 3,000 professionals work for Rolls-Royce in India today, including more than 2,000 high-skilled engineers. And for India, it's more about investments or jobs. It's a major drive for defense modernization, the Make in India push, and also its focus on high-end manufacturing as a century-old global icon, choosing India as a place where its next chapter can be written. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.